some of the Miles to Triumph stories and empowerment moments. Call up a friend and let them know it's time for some good news.
Hello and welcome to Good News. I'm Twanda Black, your host. We talk with folks from all walks of life about what's happening in their life and their good news, which ultimately is our good news, because when our brothers and sisters are doing well, we're doing well. So sit back, relax, and enjoy this great guest. It's my friend Hank Stewart. He is a poet laureate, and we're going to tell you what that is in a minute. Activist, philanthropist, humanitarian. He's an author, motivational speaker, and I think I met Hank when he first got here. How many years ago, Hank?
we have been joined at the hip for at least 30 years.
At least
30 years.
Oh my goodness! And
I'm still forever indebted to you, because you have always been someone who has carried the water for me. He's always been someone in my corner. I'm just forever indebted. When we talked the other day, like I said, if you ever need anything, please do not hesitate to ask, because I got to do it. I told you I hope you don't ask me to rob a bank, because it's not to happen. I just need to try to figure out how I'm gonna get away. That's how close we are.
Woo! But he means that, and we have been just friends and in the same circles for so long. And just been able to do some amazing things in the community, which I really love. So, Poet Laureate, I want you to tell folks what that is.
So a poet laureate, if you go back and look at the history of what a poet laureate is, that was a person back in it was hundreds of years ago. And when the king had an event, they would always call on the poet laureate to write and perform something that was befitting to that particular occasion. And so fast forwarding, Bunny Jackson Ramsey, who's my PR person, she's amazing, and she said on my 25th anniversary as a poet, she said, we're going to have to make sure that you get the title that you so richly deserve as poet laureate. And so Congressman Hank Johnson, at the time Lee May was the interim CEO, Fulton County, all of them gave me that honor. And Congressman Hank Johnson made sure it was a legal document, so it's in Congress, that I'm the poet laureate of the 4th Congressional District. I'm poet laureate of DeKalb County, and so I'm loving it.
That is amazing. You have some amazing pieces, one of which I still have on my wall, which is about the divas. I have that framed and on my wall because you gave that to me years ago.
And you're still a diva. We need to upgrade you, because now you're it. You're not just diva. You have the it factor too.
Right.
So we have to upgrade that to you.
All right. I love it. Talk about where your poetry comes from. Where do those thoughts come from? Because you talk about all kinds of different things. And for the most part, it's about the beauty of life. So talk about where that all comes from for you.
It's life. I mean, it's life experiences. It's casual conversations with Twanda. It's looking at the news. It's because you're absolutely right. I try very hard not to be a one-dimensional type poet. So you're not going to hear me just talk about love or spirituality or historical, domestic violence. You're going to hear me talk about it all. And so that's been my challenging force as well. How do you write with the same level of, because I love talking about women, particularly Black women, how strong you all are. So, so I don't get pigeonholed into just writing about one subject. I try to challenge myself to write about everything. So casual conversations can turn into a poem. Sometimes my friends say to me, be careful what you say around Hank. It might end up in a poem, But it's absolutely right. You might say one thing that triggered an entire message. Prime example: I was out to lunch with your friend and my friend Helen Butler, Miss Jemida Orange, and her mom, and we were all sitting at a restaurant, Busy Bee, I think it was, or Merrimack, I think it was Merrimack, and we were having lunch. And we were talking about Dr. C.T. Vivian. And Jemida said, Dr. Vivian can be very long-winded and all that. And at the time he was. But he said because he's seen a lot. At that time, he was like 92, 93 years of age. And he said he has the right to be long-winded. He's seen a lot, done a lot. And so she began to tell the story of when they were in South Florida at the SLC's convention. They were protesting the verdict of Trayvon Martin when George Zimmerman was acquitted. And so she said they were riding along in this street and going to get something to eat. And there was John Taylor, a strong activist in the community who's strong in labor, and Dr. C.T. Vivian. And so while they were riding, Jemida, John Taylor, and Dr. Vivian, while they were riding, they were looking at all these beautiful trees in Florida. And they kept talking about how beautiful these trees were. And finally, Dr. Vivian said, Twanda, those trees don't look that good to me. And when they said that one statement to me, and it was so God. When they said that one statement, those trees don't look that good to me, I wrote this piece called Those Trees. As fate would have it, that very night I was with another one of my mentors, Tommy Deutsch, and Dr. C.T. Vivian walked into the room, and I had a chance to ask him about that statement, and he clarified it and gave me everything. And I ended up writing a piece called Those Trees. And it's a very strong piece about lynching, and so anything can turn into a conversation. Anything from a conversation can turn into a piece of poetry, and I absolutely love it.
I've watched you become this activist. And I've we've been in the room, and I've seen you with some of the greatest activists. I think almost all of them are gone now. But you've been able to sit under their feet and listen to them and talk with them. And what has that been like for you? Because I mean, you like this sometimes. I've seen you like this, like leaning in,
Exactly. Because you're in school. You're in school, Twanda, and you're absolutely right. The only two that I've had that I have personal relationships with in the civil rights that are still here is Ambassador Andrew Young and Ms. Zonona Clayton, Reverend Cameron Madison Alexander, legend, Dr. C.T. Vivian, Congressman John Lewis, Reverend James Orange, Dr. Joseph Eccles Lowry. I mean, I had
the list goes on.
And Rita Samuels, will forever be one of my sheroes. She still makes me more conscious to make sure that she was such an advocate of Black women. Whatever I do, women or Black women are engaged in that process. You know what I mean? And Rita made me conscious. My mom and my grandmother and my grandfather and my sister. I've had so much. I mean, I received an honorary doctoral degree the other day, right?
Yes.
That means nothing to, and I love it. Don't get me wrong, but hear me, I love it. But the wisdom I got sitting at those feet made me smart a long time ago, because for me to sit at those feet and those people and sit at their feet and hear the stories, the firsthand stories, who said they was in the room but they wasn't in the room.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They were there, but they were nowhere there. Miss Orange, Clifford Orange, she talked about. She says, "Let me tell you something, baby." She says, because you hear a lot of preachers say they march and walk with Dr. King. She says, "Let me tell you something, baby." She said, "If that was the case, if all these men said they walked with Dr. King, we wouldn't have needed so many women and children to be on the front line." They had line because there was not enough people. There were not enough men, and so when you can sit at the feet of a Joseph Eccles Lowry, he tells you stories, it makes more sense. Let me give you another example. When Dr. Lowry spoke at Miss Coretta Scott King's funeral, right? He was criticized and even death threats because he took that opportunity to speak about weapons of mass destruction, or what he calls weapons of mass destruction. On the platform, on the dais that day, Daddy Bush, Baby Bush, Clinton's, Hillary, all of them were on the phone. And we were going through a war at that particular moment with Baby Bush. And so people criticized Dr. Lowry. They said that he should not have made that statement. And because I had the luxury, and we had the luxury, even people's agenda meeting, to hear, he said, "Let me tell you why I did that." He said, "You had to seize the opportunity." He said, "The world was watching." And he said, "Check this out, Ron." And he said, Dr. King did the same thing during he preached the eulogy of the bombing of the 4 little girls' sermon in Birmingham after the bombing, and he criticized the Vietnam War because the world world was watching,
Right.
and sometimes you can't miss those
Right.
opportunities. So when you have opportunities to that people feel like that, you're much better. Tommy, George, and all of them. I told Tommy today, I said, very little of who I am, Twanda, is who I am. I'm made of so much.
Yeah. You know,
Does that make sense?
Tommy is amazing. I've watched Tommy walk in a room, didn't have anything prepared, jot down some notes on a piece of paper, and get up and just power. He has so much here. He has just amazed me.
I'm having the luxury of I'm going to hang out with him in Hollywood, Florida for the 36th annual 100 Black Men's conference, convention, national convention, and he's pinning me this year from the honorary standpoint on the national level. But here's why: we've traveled together this country. He has a legacy series through the National Black College Hall of Fame. And I've been on tour with him, going to FAM and all these different colleges, BCC, Clark, FIS, all of these different colleges where we get an opportunity to talk to young people and traveling with people like the late Dr. C.T. Vivian, Judge Linda Hatchett, Judge Penny Brown Reynolds, Susan Taylor, all these amazing people. And I'm on the platform with them. And we're talking and I'm sitting there just like you're saying, just like this, listening in, and seeing how much respect Tommy has. So much respect for people around this country and from people around this country. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable.
He's amazing.
He really is. I'm honored to be his mentee. I'm honored to be his mentee.
Look,
I have a bunch of mentors. Let me just say this too. I have a bunch of them. Dr. Thomas Nathaniel Todd, camp rep. One of my first mentees was my mom, my grandfather, and people like that. I have to mention them because that was the foundation. That was the cornerstone that was set. My grandfather was the absolute best. My grandfather had a shotgun behind the door because he would go out and register black folk to vote in South Georgia, in St. Mary's, Georgia. So that's, that was instilled in me. And so always, been an activist. My late sister Bobby, she was truly my hero. She received an award years ago from Hillary Clinton when she was first lady for the community service work that she did in DC. So she would get Hanes to donate their irregularities, their socks and their skull caps. And in DC, she would pass them out. So she had raised over $250,000 for the homeless, just helping people. It was not unusual for people to come to the house and she would have a homeless people sitting there. When she passed, Twanda, I was the executive of her estate. And one of the items on her will was that I had to give money to the prison that she would go into. They in turn gave Bibles to the inmates, the female inmates, with her name on it. So I was always around it. But Reverend Cameron Madison Alexander was one of the people who was the first person who said, "Hey, you got to do something with this gold." And he put me in front of the church, and it just blossomed from that point on.
Yeah. You were the first poet to stand on the Essence Festival stage. That was amazing. I remember that.
It was crazy because that came as I always tell young people, never miss an opportunity to give your best. I don't care how small the room is, no matter how small. I was doing an open mic years ago. I was hosting an open mic and it would be packed, Twanda. I mean, it would be packed with all these poets and all of these folk. And I had to shut the list down, and sometimes we'd have to shut the room down because the room was packed. This one Tuesday, I was doing this open mic. I was hosting it for a good friend of mine named Bruce Dobbs. And it was raining, Twanda. It rained like cats and dogs that day. Sis, it rained like cats and dogs. Hardly anyone was there. It was only about 10 people in there. 3 was poets, right? And I had a 2-hour slot to.
Oh wow!
And the 3 poets were brand new poets, so they didn't have a 1 or 2 pieces. And so I had to perform for the other 7 people as if the room was full, right? And I never forget, one of the people sitting in the room was a friend of mine named Sharon Colby, and she had brought another girlfriend of hers, and her name was Cicely Ingram. Cicely was the event planner for Ingrid Saunders Jones for the Essence Festival.
Yes.
And I gave it my best. I didn't know it. I didn't know that. I gave it my best that day, sis. I gave it my best. Cicely comes up to me at the end and she says, "Oh my God, you're a phenomenal poet. Have you ever written poetry and been on the Essence Festival?" I said, "No, I haven't." She said, I'm getting you on that stage. She took me back to Ingrid Saunders-Jones. Ingrid put me on the main stage. It started with me at the press conference. The press conference went over so well. The Ingrid said, "We're gonna took me to the to Magic Johnson's place, the House of Blues." I did, and I ended up in front on the main stage, opening with Ray Nagin, Susan Taylor, all of them up there, and it was just phenomenal. And Ingrid made that possible.
Wow.
And it was, so you never know who's watching you. You never know what opportunity you're gonna have out of things. And I've just given every opportunity, with you, giving it my best, sis. I give it my best no matter what happens, no matter who's in the room, because you never know. And sometimes it's just because it's just the right thing to do. Give the very best you have.
Right. No matter what. No matter what. You're also an author. I think when I met you, you may have written your first book of poetry. Mm-hmm. Had it been that long? Yeah.
Yeah. You were around the first one. And since then,
yeah. And now, but you have a children's book.
So I actually have 5 books of poetry.
Yeah.
6 CDs, 2 novels, a coffee table book, and a children's book. And I got 2 other books that I'm trying to complete right now. Well, they're already done. We're in the editing stage. One is a book that's called 30 Years of Chocolate, and it's 30 new pieces of poetry that speaks of of my journey as a poet for 30 years. And the other book, which I'm really excited about, is 18 stories of people that impact my life. And each story starts out, and the book is entitled I Remember When. Each story starts out, I remember when, and it tells a story of how they impact my life. So I'm excited about it. I just got to get it. It's been edited. We're in the layout stages and all that, but I'm really excited about that. But yeah, I actually have 2 other children's books that I've written. We just haven't gotten the graphics for them yet. So always trying to recreate and create.
Tell folks where they can get those books from and your CDs.
HankStewart.net. Real simple. Go to Hank Stewart, HankStewart.net. If you Google Hank Stewart, I'm really high on the search engine, so a lot of stuff. You go to YouTube, you can hear poems. We've been really fortunate that there's some really good information. I sometimes I go out there, you just want to stay abreast of what's out there on you, and I go out and I Google myself sometimes on YouTube just to see the content, and some of the stuff I forgot that we had done, and it's such a blessing. It really is such a blessing.
Look, your love for children and that next generation also shows because you co-founded the Stewart Foundation with Glenn Mason. So tell us about the Stewart Foundation.
Twanda, you are all in my wheelhouse. These questions are so near and dear to my heart. Gwen and I started the foundation back in 2006, and what we saw at that time, people like Terrell Slayton. Remember Terrell Slayton? Transitioned, and we started to see people getting older, their steps getting shorter, and we were losing some folk. And we said, but we didn't see a whole lot of people grooming the next leader. So Gwen and I said, instead of talk about it, I'm gonna use her phrase, let's be about it, let's get it done. So we started a foundation, and I'm proud to say 16, almost 17 years later, we've touched over 30,000 children with the schools that we're in, the programs that we do, and we're a full 4-quarter thrust. We've raised a couple of $1 million over the years, and those funds get back to the children and everything. But our kids are 20% of our population, sis, but they're 100% of our future. Yeah. If you don't invest in that 20%, you will have no 100%. The best way to touch tomorrow today is through children. That's the best way to do it, because we're gonna transition.
Absolutely, and to go to that is tell the website for that. The Stewart Foundation. StewartFoundation.com. And there should be a link from mine, so if you can get to me, you can get to that. But it's TheStewartFoundation Foundation.com. You have to put the in front of it. The StewartFoundation.com. Yeah, because something else will come up if you don't.
Exactly.
Okay, so the annual White Linen Affair is on the way. Oh my God, we remember when you started that.
You were there. You were there when it started. So
I was.
This is 22.
Oh my gosh, it's been so long. Talk about the White Linen Affair. It is the highlight of summer in Atlanta. I'll tell you.
It is metamorphosed into this fun, amazing event, and this year we were not disappointed. This year, is our 21st annual, it's 22nd annual White Linen Affair. And last year we were really fortunate. We were able to honor Susan Taylor and Tom Joyner. We had Raheem Devon performing and all that. This year is going to be equally, if not as powerful. We're honoring. We give out 2 awards, only 2 awards. Everything is about our children. The kids have their own youth White Linen Affair. We give out all the things that they need to start school. All of our seniors get it. We give them a Foot Locker full of everything they need: bedding, school supplies, lamps, clocks, everything, a computer, printer, everything they need to start school. And then they get a little cheese, for books from us. And then we also send students who are in school additional money, right? And then they have their own White Linen Affair. They honor their peers and all that. So that's really really awesome. This year our focus is calm, and it's because of the mental health and everything. So we got some mental health workshops and all of that. So I'm really excited about that. The evening piece, the color, we always do an accent color. The accent color is blue. Yeah. This year we're honoring 2 amazing people. Dr. Yusef Salon, who's one of Central Park 5. Yeah, he will be in the house and exonerated. And he's getting a Joseph Eccles Lowry Courageous Award. And that brother, if Courageous has ever had a person face, is Dr. Yusef and the other 4 brothers who went through a horrific moment. And so we're honoring him with the Joseph Eccles Lowry Courageous Award. And then Meredith Lilly is getting the Ms. Anona Clayton IT Award. If you don't know Meredith's name, just Google it. Right. Meredith is a beast. Meredith helped President Obama in both of his elections. She was also appointed to his cabinet. She ran Hillary's campaign, which we know was hijacked. So she was successful in that. She's ran Micah Thurman, Kasim Reed, Keisha Lance Bottoms. She helped the 19 judges to get elected in Texas. She helped the brother down in Montgomery become the first brother. I mean, she's all over. Warnock, she ran amazing. Warnock help. And she's young. She's less than 45. I mean, she is a beast. So we'll honor her with the Miss Anona Clayton IT Award. She is another one of my sheroes. I'm so proud of her. And then we have 5 Men on the Stool performing that night. We haven't been so excited. You're bringing it back. Oh my gosh. And we have a special vocalist sitting in with us, and I can't tell you, it's an R&B legend who's so he's sitting in. I can't tell you who it is, so you have to try to get there. And well, who's the other 5 men, or is that top Melvin? It's Melvin, Antonio, myself, the sit-in vocalist, and the band is the 5th man. So you have the four talents. Antonio is a beast. You know how that is on that stage. I mean, he's world renowned. Melvin Miller, you know how much Melvin. He's crazy on that trumpet. And then I try to do a little poetry every now and then. And then you got the vocal, and then you got an amazing band behind us that plays for everybody. I mean, these guys tour with New Edition and all these other folk, and Bobby Brown, and and just everybody. After 7, I mean, we got an amazing band. And so that Sunday morning is your girl, my girl, your sister, my sister, our leader, and that's Judge Penny Brown Reynolds, Dr. Judge Penny Brown Reynolds. She's gonna break the word for us, and so she gonna tear it up. She brings it. Always does. Every time. Does. And she gets mad at me. She says, "Well, Hank, we're brothers." So she said, "You don't have to use me." And I said, "Why would not? Why would you change perfection?" Right. So we, every year we come back to her and ask her to be our speaker. And every year she lights it up, and you can see at the hotel. The hotel is at the Crown Plaza, Peachtree City. It's a getaway. It's only about 35 minutes south of the airport. And I love it because you're still in the city, but you get far enough away to enjoy and relax. And Peachtree City golf. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. So thank you for allowing me to plug that as well. Oh, and you can go to hankstewart.net and get those tickets as well. Absolutely. It's already up on the site. You don't want to miss it. And not to mention all the beautiful people that come in from all different places. I mean, they come in from everywhere, right? They find it. And if we're close to selling out. We're going to sell out. But we have there's a guy by the name of John Williams, and I need to make sure that you and him connect. John has this mobile truck, and you might know him. It's called Media Expert. But he has this big mobile truck, like the huge trucks from CNN. You know, when they broadcast, and you know something tragic happened. I'm sure down, you know, with losing all those children. I'm sure it's a bunch of trucks down in Texas, right? Yeah. He has one of these. And this truck would allow us to broadcast from 45 different platforms at the same time. So he's coming in with our media, he's going to be our media expert on this. And so people all around the world can see
virtual. That's right.
So
that's right.
You can still
so you can buy a virtual ticket as well.
You can buy a virtual ticket as well.
Yes. It's going to be a phenomenal event this year. Can't wait to be there, and I can't wait to see 5 Men on the Stool so I can see who's going to be there with you.
That surprise is going to be awesome.
Oh my gosh!
You know
I love it. I love it. So what is happening? I know White Linen coming up. What else do you have coming up? I know you're trying to finish books. What else are you doing?
White Linen, then the Stewart Foundation is forever grinding. I'm so glad to see us getting back into the schools. Our babies need that. Our babies need the arms, the hugs. And I'm really worried, sis, because we lost 2 years. And so you think about this, you lost a child that was 4 years old. Yeah. In 2020, they missed pre-K and kindergarten and went straight to first grade, right? A child that was, in 5 years old, went to first grade virtually, and now, in second, and so we don't know how far they're behind. There's, so we're really turning up our tutorial piece to this because, we're losing. We got kids who went from 5th grade to 7th grade. They were elementary school and went right into the 7th grade and middle school. Classrooms look majorly different from elementary to middle school, or middle school to high school. So we're trying to help. And that's why that whole mental piece is so piece is so important. That White Linen, kids back mentally. Yeah. So working on that, the food, feed the homeless, and all the things that we do every year with clothing, Gil-Gal, senior citizens, all that stuff is coming back. Really excited about that. And then the piece, we're partnering with some amazing organizations doing some amazing things. Like we were funded by Chick-fil-A, so we're doing some things with financing and working with kids on money, and some of our other sponsors, Hartsfield Jackson, Delta Airlines. We partnered with them, and now we got 5 kids getting ready to go down to Florida, Pensacola, Florida next month in June, and they will be there for a full week of aviation, right? Just nice. We got kids, who are doing all type of different. We just did a pizza program. We gave out 1,700 book bags with Dr. Janetta B. Cole's book, Congressman John Lewis' book, and Dr. Laureate book. And the school and those kids did book reports, so we rewarded them with pizza parties at the end of the year. So Gwen and I went around and bought all the pizza they could eat. We made sure that they didn't get 1 slice or 2 slices. They went, by the time we got through, they were all in. They were tired. They were full. So we fed them really, really good because we wanted to reward them on reading those books and doing the work, right? And we wanted to show them that there's a lot of blessings when you do what you're supposed to do. And so we just got a lot of stuff. Schools coming through the foundation. We're gonna have 25 young people between 16 and 18 years of age who are interested in chef and cooking and things. And so that's going to be a week. That's going to happen at the hotel the week leading up to White Linen. Oh, okay. And they will graduate at White Linen with other peers, with their youth. Oh, nice. So I'm really excited about that. So we got a lot of. I'm just trying to remember what we got going on today. You know what I mean? I'm just trying to remember what we got going on today. I know that's right. So much happening. And there's so many good things happening. Yes. Good things happening. And we need that. We need that in this country, in our lives. We need that positivity as much as possible, because I tell you, when you turn on the news and you look at what's happening, you just think this is a hopeless situation. But then it is really not. It's not. It's not. And then when you get a chance to talk to you when there's so many other good things happening, we just, my pastor, Reverend Alexander, used to always say, if a drunk hang out with a drunk, neither one of them ever be sober. Yep. If you're hanging out with people who are not going nowhere, it's not going to be long before you have your break. So when you choose your crowd and see who, and when you hang out, you kind of take on the disposition of the child. I always tell my son, Show me who your friends are, and I'll show you who you are.
That's right.
If you show me 4 millionaires and it's 5 people, the fifth one is bound to be a millionaire.
That's right.
You know what I mean? So so it's hanging. It's your perspective, and I was fortunate. I just had the opportunity to be the commencement speaker for Georgia Gwinnett College.
I saw that.
Yeah, and it went over so well that the school is asking me they're asking me they're giving me a blank check to how can I help the school, because the students responded so well to the speech that they're saying we need to have you on the front side versus the back side. So we're trying to figure out how we can get more Black men and Black females. The school is not small. It's about 12,000 students at Georgia Gwinnett College.
Yeah.
It's huge, and they got they have Greeks on life on campus, but how do we make sure that our children thrive and they win in those environments? So I'm looking forward to that.
That's right.
Because I get to go and be me. I get to say, you're not doing this. So I get to, you ain't got to sugarcoat. You can say, you got to do more of this. You got to make sure that there's more resources around our children. So I get to, and because you don't lose anything. You ain't paying me. I'm okay. I'm okay. So I get to tell the truth and hurt your feelings at the same time, because it's better because it's gonna make them better.
Right.
It's gonna make the school better, and it's gonna make our children better. And at the end of the day, we're better because of it.
Yeah, you don't have to be politically correct. Hey, thank you so much for joining us and just sharing and just being who you are. I love you always, and
I love you more.
Looking forward to the White Linen Affair. It is coming up July 30th and 31st this year. The Crown Plaza in Peachtree City, which is a very nice facility. You will enjoy it immensely. It's in the cut. And yeah, but it's nice. It's a really nice facility, and we hope that you will all be there. If you can't be there, get a virtual ticket. And the website.
Yeah.
God bless you.
God bless you.
Great conversation. If you'd like to be a guest on the show, you can email me at twandablack@thepgnetwork.org or goodnews@thepgnetwork.org. You can watch the show via PGN TV on all your digital streaming apps or visit pgntv.org. Hey, we'll see you next time with some good news. I'm Twanda Black. God bless you.